Good morning, great Americans. It's another great American video. Christmas is approaching, Christmas 2025. So, Merry Christmas, Happy Advent. We are in the season of Advent, and there is much to be thankful for. Unfortunately, there's also a couple of things to not be thankful for. You know, I was watching I'm always amazed. I like to watch the Ten Commandments, the original Ten Commandments with Charlton Heston um, once in a while. 'Cause it's just probably, arguably the greatest movie ever made. And I never cease to be amazed at how, you know, the Israelites, the Hebrews saw all the miracles. First, they saw all the plagues that came on Egypt. And then they saw the miracles, right? And especially when, the famous scene um, from the movie, which is also part of the Bible, where the big pillar of fire stands in the way of Pharaoh's chariots, and then the Red Sea, he splits the Red Sea, and they pass through the midst of the sea, and then of course the Red Sea covers up Pharaoh's chariots, and there's a lot of other miracles too that they didn't stick them all in the movie because it would have took too long. But um, and then they reach the mountain, Mount Sinai, right? And Moses goes up the mountain to get the Ten Commandments, and it takes him a while, right? He's up there like a long time, like days, weeks, and and they get restless. They lose faith. They build a golden calf. They build a false idol to worship. It's like, how can you guys see all this stuff? I mean, you know, amazing miracles. And then you still lose faith just because something ain't going quite right. It's just absolutely it never ceases to amaze. I mean, I don't know. If I personally saw the ocean split in half and I walked through it, I'd be a believer for life. Of course, I am a believer for life, but you know what I'm saying. That'd be hard to shake that loose. You know what I mean? But and that's the history. But isn't this the history of man too? It seems like whenever man, I just anyway, what am I talking about here? Here's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Donald Trump and people just losing faith. I mean, look, I have 4 videos. I'm going to put some links to the video that I want. I have a recurring theme. It's called "Stay the Course." Stay the course. Stay steady. Stay the course. Stand by Trump. And it's all about how Trump has sacrificed so much to serve this nation. I mean, every other politician, they're a parasite with their hand in your pocket. They've really never made anything of themselves in their own personal life. There's been a few who have, but a lot of them are just parasites who've never really done anything substantial. And they just suck on your teat for money because they want the power. It's not Trump. Trump lived a golden life in a golden tower, literally. And he came down, he sacrificed all so that he could serve the country. And they've been trying to assassinate him 3 times. They've thrown millions of lawsuits at him, lest we forget that prior to Trump, no former president has ever been charged with any crime, even the ones that deserve it, because it's just sort of a tradition or whatever, and there's never really any serious crimes like murder anyway, and it's just sort of one of those things. But they threw that out the window with Trump, and they weaponized the judicials. Anyway, the point is, Trump has been attacked and his family has been attacked in every possible way you can think of, from physical harm, assassination, to lawfare, to trying to bankrupt him, to raiding his home. No president's home has ever been raided for nothing. This man has sacrificed all to serve the country. And despite the rhinos and the fake news and all the forces arrayed against him, he has had amazing successes. He has done things that Republican presidents promised they would do but never did. Trump is the only president in my lifetime, except for maybe Reagan, who has actually earned my loyalty. And so I stand by Trump's. Now, has Trump made any mistakes? Yeah, he made a few mistakes. But you know what? The overwhelming success and the overwhelming positive results of his presidency have earned him a little wiggle room on some mistakes. I can forgive mistakes that are made by someone who is truly a patriot and is truly doing his best to do the right thing and is having an amazing success. Yes, I can forgive a couple of mistakes. Yeah. Uh, so, but the number of people who get all wobbly needed, apparently, so there's some recent talk in the news about, oh, some Republicans aren't running again because they feel like Trump is mean to them and all this stupid shit. I'm like, you know, it's like the Ten Commandments all over again. You've seen the miracles, right? They saw the Red Sea parted before them. They saw manna appear in the desert, right? They saw the pillar of fire protecting them from their enemies. They saw all these amazing things, and they still turned away from God and worshiped a false idol. And look at and same thing with Trump. We have seen Trump miss 3 assassination attempts, especially the one. That was an act of God. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, the fact that he turned and then you know what I'm saying? We know the story. Um, and the fact that and by the way, just think about that. These Republicans who want to quit, talk about being thin-skinned. Imagine if Trump, you, they think that they've had a hard time. That's nothing compared to what Trump has been through. Any other politician would have folded early on if they had gone through just tiny percent of what Trump has been put through. But Trump has stood by us and he has delivered and he has put up with I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. But he has put up with so much stuff. So listen, people, I you know, and that's just on Trump's side. Then look at the opposite side of the coin and see all the horrible, terrible things that Democrats have been doing lately. I mean, it is just absolutely insane. I mean, I don't even know where to start. It's a list a mile long, 10 miles long, right? I mean, from their violence in the street, right? Doge exposes bad spending, and what do? The left burns Teslas and burns his factories. Can you imagine reacting that way when corrupt spending is exposed and you react by burning stuff down? That's how ICE, same thing. ICE is out enforcing the law and arresting illegal aliens. And how does the left react? They do physical violence to them. They're killing them. Look at the Democrats are the enemies. They have exposed themselves and their violence. They were violent against Elon Musk and Doge. They're violent against ICE. Their Antifa bullies are violent in the streets. uh, uh, um, what else do I need? Their sexualization of children in schools, the groomers, they're twisting the minds of little bitty kids. They put pornography in schools of elementary schools. Um, they've elected two communists to mayors. And what what is it going to take? Do you not realize that Trump is the only thing standing between us and the literal end of the America that we know? And then those Republicans are going to be so petty that they feel like they have to quit because they said that Trump takes advantage of them or he's mean to them. I mean, good Lord. Listen, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. We are in a civil war. On one side is me and the side I support, which is traditional America, traditional values, the capitalist traditional America. You know, the shining city on the hill, as Ronald Reagan used to say. And on the other side are these leftist extremists, quasi communists, admitted socialists who sexualize children, who have literally destroyed what it means to be a human being. They said that there's 100 genders and transgenderism, and they're letting men attack women in women's bathrooms. I mean, it just goes on and on. The two sides could not be more clear. And if you abandon Trump in the middle of this fight, then you're just a worthless sack of shit. You know what I mean? Trump's election in 2020 could very much, if I was to make an analogy, could be likened to a D-Day in World War II. All right. So there's an ongoing war, but really the beginning of the end for Nazi Germany was D-Day. They accomplished a military feat never seen in the annals of military history. An armada of such power and size never happened before and probably never going to happen again. And then came the drive to Berlin to defeat Hitler, right? Let's take Trump's 2020 election likewise. An amazing feat. Well, I mean, I'm sorry, the 2024 election. An amazing feat. A man who had just been defeated, who was actually cheated and had the election stolen, but that's another story. Defeated, according to fake news, by sleepy, senile Biden, actually came back after defeat to win a second term, a second non-consecutive term, despite all the powers arrayed against him, and including the assassination attempt. This is another amazing feat, and now he is the leader in the civil war against the socialist, communist, Democrat Party, the party of evil. Democrats have always been on the side of evil since they promoted slavery. They started a civil war to keep slavery. They invented the KKK. They invented Jim Crow. They invented segregation. And now today they have their Antifa bullies in the street. They have their anti-Doge bullies in the street. Now they have their anti-ICE, anti-law enforcement bullies and rioters in the street. Democrats are terrorists. They're terrorists and they're communists, just like the Antifa of old pre-Nazi Germany. And this we're and we now imagine soldiers landing on D-Day, and then let's say a few days later they said, "Oh man, I'm done. I quit." We would have never won World War II. That's what Republicans are doing now. Trump won. He's doing amazing things, and you got people who were Trump supporters now they want to fly the coop. You're insane. You are out. You are literally handing the country over to the enemy. So I could just say again, in 2026, what happened in these little 2025 elections cannot happen again. We need to vote red. We need to get out that same vote that we got out for Trump in 2024. We need to stay the course, increase the number of MAGA representatives, increase the number of MAGA senators, and also Congress people, assembly people, local mayors, school boards. I mean, across the board, everybody needs to be a member of the Make America Great Again movement. And it is a movement. Donald Trump is the leader for now, but it's an ongoing movement. And it has to get stronger and stronger and stronger, or else we lose the Civil War. And that's just the way it is. Don't get weak. Don't get wobbly kneed. Stay steady. Stay the course. Please click the links that I put into the description of the video. And please subscribe to my Substack page for free. Have a Merry Christmas. Have a great holiday. And I will see you in the next great American video. Adios, muchachos.